Lately, a lot of people have been DMing me asking, are tech stocks about to crash? Should I sell everything and get out? Tech stocks have been tanking hard. Nvidia just lost over $200 billion in market cap in 2 days. Nvidia's dropping like a rock, and Microsoft and Apple are sliding too. But here's the truth, this isn't a market crash. What we're seeing is something that has happened over and over again in history, a massive wealth rotation. I still remember the dot-com bubble back in 2000. Everywhere you looked, the headlines screamed tech is dead. Investors were panic selling internet stocks like they were running for their lives. But what actually happened? The money didn't disappear, it rotated. It flowed into oil companies, banks, and even those boring utility stocks that no one cared about. Over the next few years, ExxonMobil, JP Morgan, Duke Energy, they all skyrocketed, while tech had to sit on the sidelines and recover. But when the dust settled, tech wasn't dead at all. In fact, it came back even stronger. Microsoft, Apple, Google, they rose from the ashes and ended up dominating the next decade. So here's what I want to tell you. In 2025, what we're witnessing right now isn't a brand new playbook. It's history repeating itself, or at least rhyming. Hi, I'm Alpha and welcome to Alpha Talks Finance. I've spent 16 years studying and working in the US stock market. And my mission here is simple: to break down Wall Street's complex logic into plain English so you can actually understand it, use it, and grow your wealth. No hype, no noise, just the real story behind the markets. And today we're diving into what this great rotation really means for your portfolio. This channel is where I share practical insights on US stock investing, technical analysis, and smart strategies to steadily grow your wealth. It's simple, useful, and designed for both beginners and anyone who wants to level up their investing game. If my videos help you avoid mistakes and make smarter money moves, then I've done my job. So hit that subscribe button, new videos drop every week. Let's grow together and move one step closer to financial freedom. So what does this great rotation mean for your portfolio? Don't panic, sell your tech stocks. Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, they're not disappearing just because of this pullback. But the rules of the game are shifting, and for a while the winners might look very different. Where's the money going? Defensive sectors, utilities, and dividend stocks. Why? Because AI data centers are chewing through insane amounts of power. Suddenly those boring utility companies don't look so boring anymore. Energy and banks. In a high-rate environment, they tend to shine. Oil, natural gas, and financials, basically the benchwarmers, are suddenly being called into the game. So this isn't about abandoning tech, it's about rebalancing. Spread out your positions so you can protect your downside now and still be ready when tech makes its comeback. Now take a look at what just happened. The Nasdaq just got dragged down by big tech. Growth stocks are being dumped left and right. But here's the key. Investors aren't running to cash. They're rotating into value stocks, dividend plays, utilities, and energy. Think of the market like a massive stadium. For the last 2 years, the tech section has been so crowded you could barely breathe. Everyone was screaming for AI, Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft. It felt like the Super Bowl. But now, people are getting up and leaving, not exiting the stadium, just switching seats. They're moving over to the sections labeled utilities, energy, banks. That right there is the great rotation happening in front of you. Sound familiar? If you've been around the markets, you'll remember the dot-com bust in 2000. Back then, the headlines screamed, tech is dead. Investors were dumping internet stocks like it was the end of the world. But what really happened? The money didn't vanish, it rotated. It flooded into oil, banks, and utilities. Those so-called boring sectors suddenly became the stars of the show. And what we're seeing today? It's like history rhyming. This time it's AI and big tech cooling off while a new cast of winners takes the stage. As Citi strategist Scott Cronert put it, the past 2 days' action points to more of a rotation effect. In favor of traditionally defensive sectors such as real estate, staples, healthcare, and utilities, energy, materials, and financials are also higher over the past 2 sessions. That nails it. Money is clearly moving out of high valuation tech stocks and into more stable, cash-generating defensive plays. And as Barron's reported, over the past 5 years, the S&P 500 Information Technology Sector Index is up 136%. However, fund managers are now reducing tech exposure in favor of sectors like financials, energy, utilities, consumer discretionary, materials, and healthcare. This really captures the heart of the shift we were witnessing, the true power of the Great Rotation. Money isn't vanishing, it's just changing rooms. Here's how I see it. This isn't the Titanic sinking. It's more like the crowd just moved to a different hall. Picture this. Over the past year, everyone was crammed into the tech hall. The DJ was spinning AI, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple stocks were pumping, the crowd was going wild, and everyone thought the party would never end. But then the music slowed down. A few people left first, and then more followed. Look closer, though they didn't leave the building. They just walked into other rooms, the energy hall, the banking hall, the healthcare hall. And those rooms are starting to heat up. We've seen this movie before. Back in 2000, when the dot-com bubble burst, people thought Wall Street was collapsing. But what really happened? Money rotated. It flowed out of busted internet stocks and into energy and financials. Oil companies and those boring banks suddenly became the new stars of the cycle. So, are you still panicking? History is already telling us, the Great Rotation doesn't mean the game is over, it just means the script has changed. The real question is, are you moving with the money, or are you about to get run over by it? Stick around till the end, because I'll share why this Great Rotation could determine whether, over the next 12 months, you're the one being harvested or the one doing the harvesting. And hey, if you've got any investment questions, drop them in the comments. I've worked at major institutions, doing analysis and research for years, and I've seen cycles like this play out before. Remember, investing is a long game. It's not just about numbers, it's a battle of perspective. My goal is simple, to be that reliable friend on your path to financial freedom. In the year 2000, the dot-com bubble burst. Tech stocks were basically handed a death sentence. CNN's headline read, "The internet is just a fad." The Nasdaq collapsed from 5,000 all the way down to 1,200, wiping out nearly $5 trillion in market value. Amazon crashed from $113 to just 6.95% drop. Cisco, Intel cut in half. Tens of thousands of retail investors were devastated. The mood back then was, tech stocks will never come back. But here's the thing, money didn't disappear. It rotated. Oil stocks and banks quietly took the baton. From 2002 to 2005, ExxonMobil surged more than 80%. Chevron doubled in just 3 years. The S&P Bank Index rebounded over 150% between 2003 and 2006. Even boring utilities outperformed both the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 from 2000 to 2003. And what were the real masters doing at the time? In 1999, Warren Buffett was mocked as out of touch. Barron's even ran a cover story, "Buffett misses the internet boom." Wall Street laughed at him for not understanding the new economy. But when the bubble burst, Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway had almost no internet stocks. Instead, it was loaded with energy, insurance, and banking names: Coca-Cola, Gillette, Wells Fargo, American Express. Back then, people said Buffett was too old for tech, but it was those boring value plays that made him the ultimate winner. From 2000 to 2003, the Nasdaq cratered 75%. Meanwhile, Berkshire's stock price actually rose more than 40% between 2000 and 2004. While others were bleeding out, Buffett's portfolio was steady as a rock. And here's the kicker, he used the chaos to go on offense. In 2002, Buffett made a massive bet on Petrokina, investing about $500 million. A few years later, that stake was worth over $3 billion. He later called it one of the easiest investments of my life. So while retail investors were panic selling, Buffett was raking in real profits from energy and cash flow machines. And when tech eventually came roaring back, his portfolio was still positioned to ride the next wave of growth. And what happened next? In 2004, Google went public and became a global giant. In 2007, Apple launched the iPhone, igniting the smartphone revolution. Tech made its grand comeback. But here is the tragedy: many who got wiped out in 2000 never got to enjoy that upside again. The bottom line: the Great Rotation has never been the end. It's a wealth transfer. The panicked ones lose it all. The calm ones shift seats. And when the next chapter matures, they're the ones still smiling. On this channel, I'll be sharing my own investing insights, stock analysis, and strategies for building long-term wealth. If that's something you're interested in, hit subscribe. I post every week. There are really three forces driving the market right now. First, interest rates. The price of money has gone up. Back when rates were near 0%, investors were willing to chase dreams of 2035 self-driving cars, a fully automated AI world. But now, with the Fed's benchmark rate hovering around 5%, you can park cash in. A bank can earn 5% a year risk-free. Naturally, investors are asking, why take big risks on the future when I can lock in real cash flow today? Data point, from 2022 to 2024, the US utilities sector SHLU index has consistently offered dividend yields of 3-4, already outperforming many tech companies' promised stories. Second, crowded trades. Take Nvidia, practically everyone owns it. It's like a movie theater packed to the brim when someone yells fire. Everyone rushes for the exit at the same time and nobody gets out clean. That's why sell-offs hit so hard. For example, in 2021, Tesla's stock plunged from over $400 to the 200s in just one quarter. Why? Funds were over-concentrated, and when they ran for the door, the stampede made the drop even worse. Third, valuations. AI is real, data center demand is exploding, but stock prices often run way ahead of reality. Nvidia's share price is up over 600% in the past 3 years, but revenue growth hasn't come close to keeping up. So what are investors saying? Let's cool off, park the money somewhere safer, and come back once the AI story truly delivers. And that sets the stage for a classic rotation. So the question is, where is the money going? First stop, defensive sectors. Think utilities and dividend-paying companies. Why? Because AI data centers consume staggering amounts of power. Analysts estimate US electricity demand could rise 20% over the next 5 years, driven largely by AI and cloud computing. Those boring power companies suddenly look a lot more attractive. Second stop, energy and banks. Oil and gas stocks benefit from rising demand. Don't forget, between 2003 and 2007, oil stocks doubled and banks. In a high-rate environment, they earn fatter interest spreads. Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway leaned heavily into Wells Fargo after the dot-com bust. That positioning helped him sidestep the carnage. So, do you see the pattern? This rotation isn't random. It is Wall Street looking for safe harbors, giving the market breathing room until the next big growth story matures, which brings us to today's playbook. 1. Don't dump all your tech. Keep the ones that actually make money. 2. Hold defensive positions. Utilities, dividend payers. They may look boring, but they'll save your portfolio when it matters most. 3. Place some chips on energy and financials. They could be the surprise winners of this cycle. 4. And finally, rebalance regularly. Market rotations move like tides. Adjust or risk getting stranded on the beach. Remember this, rotation is not the enemy. It's the market's way of telling you evolve or get left behind. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. In 2000, the real question was, did you get buried with the crowd or sit in the right room like Buffett? So here in 2025, how will you play the great rotation? Stick with tech or pivot to energy and financials? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll pick the most interesting ones and feature them in the next episode. I'm Alpha and you're watching Alpha Talks Finance. If this video gave you new insights, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell. See you in the next one.